me without you. It's gonna feel kind of weird.
We talked about that last night.
Remy's good. I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't been in a long time. Like 2019, I think is the last time I've gone to a Remy.
yeah.
Me.
The food there is like it's so different and interesting and
Mhm.
detailed that it's like
Yeah.
really good. Like
Yeah, I
it's
just
not the
like
kind of
the
food you
level of
could eat all
service
the
too, like
time.
how they bring the dishes, the
Yes.
presentations are so good. And yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
But we were going with Jared and Stacy, and they've never been to they never sailed the Dream before actually, which is kind of cool.
Oh wow, that's funny. That's
But
the one I feel like I've been on
B2
so many times.
so many times. Me
Yeah,
too.
for a while there, that was like the ship we were on all the time.
Well, Mike knows this. I'm gonna do I'm doing the flagpole room, like the at facing room that has the flagpole. And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of
Yeah.
interesting, I think. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yes.
I love those staterooms back
I
here.
do love like the extended verandas are nice.
Yep.
I
They're
like
a little bit loud when you come into port, but that's the only thing.
100%. Yeah.
They are.
Little
They are.
little vibrating.
Yeah, yeah, but I
But
mean,
then,
it's probably worth it though. I mean,
and
it's
like there could be a lot of birds back there too, because like cabanas is like on the back of the ship, and like people
yeah,
eating out. I don't know.
yeah. Still fire some food up in the air.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
How often are you on the cabana? How often are you on? You're probably on the veranda more than we are.
I would say, yeah,
I'm
we had
guessing,
that
right?
discussion
You
last
probably have coffee out there and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I just go
do.
to
Like
Cove. I go to Cove though for the coffee.
I
though.
know. Yes, I do too. Because all the rest of the coffee on the ship is horrible. I will say, like it's bad. Like
Yeah.
that's my non-negotiable, and this is true of almost every cruise line. You
Mhm.
have to get like the specialty coffee because I have to have good coffee in the morning. And I
Yeah.
just, for a while, I was like, okay, you're on a cruise. Like, how bad can it be? You know, blah blah blah. No, it's bad. It's really bad.
It can be. Yes.
Quote
It
Ramblers
just
there.
really is.
No, it's bad.
And that's why they had to have the specialty coffees. Like it's
Yes,
worth
that's
it.
exactly why. And I don't mind paying for it at all. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't care what, as long as I'm going to get decent coffee, we're good.
The
So,
Cove on the Magic. I love the Cove on Magic. That might be my favorite Cove cafe.
That
The
is a
Magic
sweet one. That was really. I mean, I didn't
yeah.
end up not getting anything there. I should have. Like, there's so much I didn't do. I gotta go back on the Magic. I love that shit.
Right, but the rest of the magic, I don't like the restaurants there.
I did. No, I mean they're okay.
Yes, they're
I
okay.
like their Palo. That Palo is sweet though.
That Palo is good.
That's
And
the
we
best
eat
olive.
at the bar when we're there, when we're on that ship. We just
Oh,
go
that's
in and
cool.
sit at
Yeah,
the bar and eat there.
that's cool.
Like if I'm on a 3 or 4 night cruise, that's where we're going to eat every night.
We got that big like round table there, right? You know, there's like a round table by the open kitchen.
Hmm
Like we got to sit there like we were kings and queens with egg heads. That was so fun.
That's
Yeah, you
awesome.
get to sit there because we went to brunch the before and then the dinner the night before and then we got there for brunch like we sit there and then we got to we're like oh let's
Yeah,
go.
the sweet table.
All right, we need questions, folks. You have a question for the show, please drop it in the comments and you will be a internet star on Wednesday.
Wow.
I feel like I already recorded a podcast today. I had lunch with a coworker that wanted like trip planning questions, and I
Yes.
talked a whole hour during lunch. So I feel like I've already done this today.
You're like you come straight out of the bullpen.
Basically,
My dad called me and like he's using StreamYard for something for the radio station. They're doing something in Ireland or something, and he's actually doing something for I know, listen, Pam, like the radio station has a client that they're a brick and mortar travel agency that's been around in St.
Oh
Louis.
my
Like
God.
they've been around for like 30 years. And they're doing something with them, but it's like an internal thing. Like they don't want to broadcast it on the internet. Like, but he's like, we got to do a stream, but it can't go out like, to the public. How do you do that?
Right.
I don't know. We do everything public. I guess you can do that. And I'm like, that's like a crazy way to do that, like with a brick and mortar. But I hear the commercial
I feel for brick and mortar because you know what people come in and do. They're like,
pricing.
yes, and I
Right.
want to fly somewhere. Will you
Yeah.
buy me like flights and
Well, they're always going to the older folks because they broadcast like the commercials are on all like KMOX, which is like I mean, I listen to KMOX because I'm like an 80-year-old, but like, it's like the people listen to, it's like the talk radio, right? Because I've heard the commercials my whole life. It's like I sound, I'm like, man, because they've been around forever. Like I remember listening to the commercials like in the 80s and 90s.
right. I know. We had a guest recently who was like, well, I want to book my flights with my Disney package. I'm like, well, first of all, Disney doesn't offer flights anymore. Like they don't, that's not possible with a Walt Disney World package anymore. Disney doesn't even offer that ability. So we can like help you find a flight that might work, and then you'll go on the airline website and do it. But I don't know. It's just it is very interesting, and I
I
think it
got too
definitely
much
is
going on.
generational.
I tell guests, I don't touch flights because there's too much going on with them. Like there's too many dynamics. I don't want to be in that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you get stuck. All right, let's do a show. Here we go. So what are we at? 27:52. 27:52? Yep. And rolling. Welcome to episode 2752 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great midweek, and we are getting ready for some fun stuff this week. But before that, of course, it is time for your listener questions. Another all-star crew assembled here to tackle these Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and Disney Cruise Line situations that might pop up. Who knows? Because we are live on all the locations as we record these shows on Monday afternoons. Scotty G getting ready to head out to sea later this week on the Disney Dream. Joining us from Must See Adventures, Scott. Happy Wednesday. What's up?
Happy Wednesday. Yeah, just having a nice week. I like the cooler temps we're kind of having early on in this week. It was a hot summer, wasn't it? Holy cow. So enjoying some of the cooler temps right now. I don't want to get too cool though. Like I don't want it to be like wintertime. I'm not trying to put that in the atmosphere.
Yes.
But
Oh, you roll there, man. Yeah.
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 Like
Well, you're going on a cruise. It won't be wintertime.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know. I gotta look at the forecast though. I don't know if there's any like H words coming my way. Like you got to worry about that this time of year.
I like
But
the way you put that. Yeah, don't say it out loud.
I'm not gonna actually say what the word is. But yeah, you gotta sometimes worry about that in late August, early September. But yeah, happy to be here on a Wednesday and answer some listener questions. We got the best audience and ready to put on my thinking cap and answer some questions.
All righty, and she is back. Everybody's been asking, where is Pam Forrester? And my wife, actually, is she on a cruise? Is she at Walt Disney World? Is she in Pittsburgh? I said, I don't know, but she's going to be back next week on the show. So here she is, Pam Forrester, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Pam, glad to have you back. What's up?
I'm back. I've been a lot of different places. Walt Disney World, actually, for some of it. And then we were doing some moving of Hannah and just a bunch of different stuff. So we've been doing a ton of stuff. But yes, now I'm back. I'm actually back for a while.
Wow.
It's my fall at home. Well, I don't know. You know what? I've been looking at some of the rates on Disney Cruise Line lately, and they're pretty tempting. So now I'm like, how long will I actually be back? I don't know.
I have to.
Oh,
But
come sail with us this Labor Day weekend, fam.
I know, right? I'll just you hop on a yes. There have been great rates. I'm just like, this for real. They are.
I know. I gotta stop looking though, because it's like football season. I can't. Once football season's over, January, we're good to go. But
That's a long stretch.
it is, but it's Mallory's senior year, right? I can't. I blocked it out. Like these seasons go by too quick. I mean, we have our season tickets for Mizzou. It's football season. I'm rocking the.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big year out of the zoo, and we start off with 6 straight home games. Man, who made that schedule? That's just brutal.
Dang. Then the travel will be intense for a while.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like we got to go because we don't live in our town like Scott. Like Scott lives right by his stadium. Like when we go to home games at Mizzou, it's a 2-hour trip each way to get to the stadium, and then of course it's like game day traffic, and it's a whole scene. I mean, I love it, man. When I'm at Mizzou, dude, I'm in my element. Those are my people, but. It's a travel nightmare.
I can walk to the stadium in a quarter of the time it takes you to drive to yours.
You're living life. I bet you hear the drum line at your house.
Oh, I hear the band.
You're living my dream. Oh my God. I'd be so excited on a Saturday morning if I heard
it's fun. It's fun, man. It's a fun attitude.
I wouldn't be able to contain my excitement. All right. Dennis the Doughboy. Actually, that's his name right there on YouTube. Tuned in, says coming from Saratoga Springs. Do you drive or take the bus to Animal Kingdom for rope drop? And what ride do you prioritize, number 1 and number 2? I can tell you what the answer from Scotty G and Pam Forrest are going to be on the first part of the question. They're going to both say drive because they're drivers.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just because you can control it a little bit better.
Mhm.
Like with the bus, I mean, the bus is great. It'll drop you closer than the parking lot will. So you save
Mhm.
some steps that way. But I just like controlling the time a little bit more with my car. So that's why I like driving.
That's us too. I mean, I don't know that it necessarily saves me time or anything else, but I think at the end of the day, I can come and go as I please. And more importantly, Steve can come and go as he pleases. I've almost seen his head explode if we ever take the bus, if we walk out to the bus thing and like he has to wait like more than 35 seconds for a bus, it's like, Steve, we should be driven. I'm like, okay, well, first
Oh,
of all,
I
we
relate to
wouldn't
that
even
so
be at the
much.
car yet, so just simmer down there a little bit. But yes, no, he just like, and I've said this before, he's so patient in other parts of his life, but like this is just one he's not, and it's fine. We rent a car like every time we're there, so we drive. But I will say, for those who don't have that issue, like who are just like, I'm content with this, yes. But I will say, if anything, in the morning, sometimes the bus situation is a little more frustrating because you want to get there and be there first thing in the morning. And at times, depending on where you're staying too, the bus could be full by the time it gets to your bus stop at the resort, depending on the resort.
Yep. And Saratoga is
Things
one of
like
the
that.
situations with multiple stops. Yeah.
It
So,
is.
yeah.
So just think about that.
Yeah, because again, it is kind of that bus roulette thing, right? I mean, you could get lucky, boom, you walk out there, it rolls up in 3 minutes, but you could walk out to your stop and it could be, it's always that, right? Oh, dude, it was, I'm headed to Animal Kingdom. I see, I see Hakuna Matata pulling away, and then the next 5, 7 buses are all going to be for every other park but Animal Kingdom. Like, but if you get in your car, you know exactly like what time you put the key in, you're out. You're going. So it's control,
Yeah.
like Scott
I'll
said.
say when I'm at Saratoga Springs in general, I know this is specific to Animal Kingdom. I'm driving to every park. Maybe not Magic Kingdom just because of the ticket and transportation center, but like, yeah, like from that resort, I'm driving for sure.
Yeah, and like Michelle says here also on YouTube, she says, you control the climate in your car, so you
Yeah.
have that, and
Yeah,
Animal Kingdom
very true.
has a great parking lot. Boom, it's easy in and out there. I mean, it's huge surface parking lot. You got the trams, piece of cake.
You're only missing out on hearing other people's plans for the day,
And I
True.
mean, if you don't have a car, it's fine. I mean, I take the bus. I mean, but you have more control with the car. You're gonna determine your own destiny. Now, second part of the question: what rides do you prioritize first, right off the bat? What would you guys say for most people? Because it's going to be different for everybody. But what do you guys prioritize first, 1 and 2 at Animal Kingdom?
Avatar
Yeah,
has
Flight of
got to be.
Passage, I think, is
Yeah.
what's number one.
Yeah, for sure. It just is. The line that's like a line that gets long and stays that way all day. It just does. And the fact that Navi River is as long as it is
That is
sometimes,
nuts because it's like it's a small world, but in Pandora,
not as good, not as long.
it's short. It is super short. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
not
it
comfortable
is.
boats either. Yeah.
It is. So that I think if you're looking to do Everest, that's probably one to prioritize as well. But I always find too that the safari I think is better in the morning
Yes,
or
I
late at
agree with that.
night.
Yep, because I
So,
I don't do Flight of Passage, it kinda makes me wanna hurl, so I go back for the safari because I think the animals are more active right off the bat, right off
Yeah.
the jump.
But look at
But
your app too to see like what's running
mhm,
because sometimes you might get burned. Like if you go to Everest and then you find out it's not opening at part time, now you're all the way in the back of the park, and
mhm.
then you missed out on going to Flight of Passage or something. So like as you're entering, kind of open up the app just to see like if you can get any kind of indication if something's not going to open with the park because that could burn you sometimes too.
that's good.
Does, and Everest is one that frequently is not open first thing in the
Yeah.
morning. You just tend to know these things after going there for a while, but it's one that's frequently offline, and you'll see there on the app, it'll say temporarily closed. And that temporarily means something's going on. So,
The thing about Everest too is that even though it's like a big e-ticket attraction in Animal Kingdom, it does eat people pretty well. I mean, throughout the day, you won't see huge waits at that one. Like, and especially if you're willing to do single rider, you can get through that line pretty quick throughout the day. Like
And I like that line. Isn't it weird? There's so much to
Great.
see in that line, though.
You can
It's
see animal
actually
scats and
yeah. All kinds of stuff.
I'm always amazed at the efficiency though. Like you were talking about, like how it eats people up. Like when they're like loading that queue and like I think it was it like 16 rows, so they felt like 32 people in that vehicle, and you see one loading and the next one's ready to go. Like I'm always impressed at how fast they can load those vehicles. It's pretty good.
It's
yeah.
precision. It really is. It's like a dance. Like there are certain rides where you watch them load and it's like, the whoever's loading you is just sort of like, okay, yeah, here, and there, right? They're not really paying attention. Not at Everest. You're like, you here, it's like the gates open, everyone gets in, and it moves on. So
You're right. It's so good.
My wife and I always go sense of urgency. They
Yes.
they either have it or they don't. And
Right.
Yeah, and you gotta and you as a guest have to be quick too, or else that gate closes. I've had that gate close
Exactly.
on me once because I was like, I was being like a
Focused.
silly dad, like taking a selfie or something, and then boom, like the gate closed. I had to ask him to reopen it, and like I probably messed up the whole operation.
Sarah, quick forward with the
No.
phone and get on the train. This train is headed to Nepal. Let's go. Going up the mountain. All right. Diane's got a question here. We appreciate Diane so much. She's always here with us. Hey, BOGP. Traveling in February with our group of girls for Princess Weekend. I believe today is actually Princess Day or it's Princess Week. I saw something on social media. I would like to plan a dinner for our group to carb load somewhere in the Disney Springs area. What restaurant would you suggest for the evening before our 10K? I would not. This is me. I would not suggest. What, Terralina? Is that the one? Don't go there.
Yeah, it was just kind
Yeah.
of disappointing the time that I've been
wasn't
there. I see
Yeah.
Pam nodding. Yeah.
It was.
There's a reason why it's always available. I'm gonna like
That is actually the Olive Garden of
Friday.
Mm.
Go back to Friday show.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I wouldn't suggest that. So what? Help Diane here. Besides me being negative and mean.
I think Maria and Enzo's is a good choice in the Disney Springs area if you're looking to carbo load. They have pasta. I believe that the pasta is handmade there. It's part of the Patina group, and they own a few of the restaurants in the Disney Springs area, but you can get good food there. It's a cute little, story. I think that that's a good choice.
Scotty, any other
Yeah.
thoughts?
I mean, that's where I was going to. Like, is there like is the counter service like pizza place next door to there like still a thing too? So like you can even you can kind of even snack on some pizza there too. I know they're trying to like probably have the bigger group of girls like eat there, but like I like to come up with different answers. Actually Beth has a good one too with Enzo's Hideaway. I think they kind of have some good pastas there too, but Maria and Enzo's is kind of where I was leaning towards too. Like I just love the airport storytelling vibe that
I
you're hanging
know.
on. I remember the first time, I think we went there over Marathon Weekend when that first like soft opened. I think all three of us were there as a group.
Mhm.
And I remember like Mallory and Emily, I think got like these kids meals and they came out like an old like airport like food tray. I thought it was like the cutest thing,
Right.
like how they came out like that. It's a cool restaurant and I think it gets forgotten about sometimes too. So good pick.
It is true. And it's right. It's got a great location. Everybody walks past it all the time, but it's one of those hidden in plain sight kind of situations. All right. Ashley's got a question over in the inbox. It says Halloween fun or horror? Here we go. I have been to Central Florida in October for work. My colleagues and I are making the 2-hour drive back to Orlando to leave on Thursday night at 5 p.m. for MCO. I just discovered there is a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party that night, and tickets are still available. It's a Halloween miracle. I could change my flight to 7 a.m. Friday morning, but I have two important questions. First, one, what can I do with my luggage? I have a carry-on size suitcase and backpack. I've never done lockers before and don't want to chance getting through the security line with that much stuff. Can I leave it with Bell Services at the hotel, even if I'm not checking in? Number two, knowing the party ends at midnight and I'd have to leave for the airport at 3 or 4 a.m., I could skip out on a hotel. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much will I regret this on Friday morning? Thanks so much for any info, or sorry, thanks so much for talking me into or out of this, Ashley. All right, so she has to be in Central Florida in October for work. Her colleagues, they're going to make a drive back to Orlando and they have to leave out on Thursday night at 5 p.m. But she's thinking about going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party that night and flying out on Friday morning. Should she do the Halloween party that night? She has a carry-on and a backpack, and what to do with that. Logistically, I mean, is this?
I don't think it's a terrible idea.
Is this a YOLO? I mean, we're giving a YOLO on this.
I like the idea of having a hotel room, though. I'm just gonna say, like,
100%.
I don't like the being homeless between like midnight and like 4 a.m. on your way to the airport. I don't know. Like, do you go to a Denny's and just hang out there for a few hours? Like,
my dad sleeps in airports, like he does. Like when this situation arises.
Yeah, I don't like that part of it. So I think I would just be too cranky later on in the day, you know. So I would still recommend the hotel room, even if it's just for like a few hours of sleep. Like even if it was like a value resort or something, you know. So, but I like the idea of extending the trip. Why not? The Halloween party is a lot of fun, so I'd say go for it.
I agree. I don't like the idea of being homeless either. I mean, I understand that the room is an expense, but it solves a lot of problems. First of all, 2 hours of sleep is always better than no hours of sleep. Always.
That's a good point.
Always.
We have a lot of pull quotes from this show already. I like that you're pro not being homeless too. That was a good one.
Oh, that I think is important. Also, then your luggage, you'll be able to go ahead and check it in at that resort. Luggage services are reserved for folks staying there. I'm not going to tell you that maybe people have, used them when they weren't, but I'm just telling you, I'm going to give you the official answer because anything other than that would be a little irresponsible on my part. But just, seeing what that is, I think that you'll be happy with the room, even if you have the room, like you have the opportunity to use the room maybe a little before the party too, because you probably won't be going in until 4 o'clock. So, and check-in time at the resorts is 3 o'clock. So you might be lucky and get it a little earlier in the day and think about that. But I think you'll be happy if you have the room. It's just a home base, a place to take a quick shower if you need to, and a place to rest your head for a couple hours. So. But yes, YOLO. I'm YOLO, pro YOLO. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, the thing is, you're always going to have the story, even if this fails epically and you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have the worst weekend after this because you crashed so hard, like you're going to have the epic story for decades. Like that's the way you look at it. Like the thing is, you're going to roll into a weekend. And you can recover. You might lose that whole weekend because you went too hard and too long. Yeah. Hopefully by Monday you're back at it. You've recovered and you have a great story. I mean, but hopefully it doesn't kill that. Doesn't take you 48 hours to bounce. But you had the party.
It's good. It's good. I think as you get older, as you age in life, to check in with yourself every now and then to see how good your recovery time is. Because sometimes you may overestimate that.
Are we all going back to our college days here and saying is the pain worth the is the party worth the pain? Kind of, because it's exactly basically what she just wrote in. Should I? Well, I mean, you get a fun party there, but I mean, you're going to pay the piper on the back end of this thing.
You are. But it's very frequently worth it, if for nothing else than the story. As
hoping none of our college age kids hear this show.
And then this needs to be a Monday trip report too, because I really want to know how this plays out. I want to hear about it.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. All right, Jason, up I believe in the Lansing, there's Sparty country,
Grand Rapids area, but he's a MSU guy though.
Yeah, season ticket holder, I believe. Big tailgater. Space Burst going down for a refurb started on Monday. Any guess on what's going to happen? I think it's just a spruce up, but it's a pretty lengthy one though. I think it's going into the fall.
And wasn't this a delay of one that was supposed to happen, I believe, at one point, and then they delayed the refurbishment, and now
this
maybe we're here.
And I don't know what's going on with this one.
I'd
Yeah.
love if it was going back to that whole like gutting that we're gonna do, right? And like before the pandemic, do you remember that artist rendering we saw like at a
Uh-huh.
D23? Like, oh man, it looked so good. That's
Yeah.
not what this is gonna be, unfortunately. But
So what? So tell me about. I forgot about that one. What would you like to see them do to Spaceship Earth if you had the?
just like just spruce up the whole thing. I mean, just take up the whole. I mean, just the story has been going on for a long time, right? Like this whole version that we have, and I'm not knocking it. I'm not. I know like Judi Dench gets some heat like with the script and everything and all that, but it's just I haven't seen a different version since I've been going to Walt Disney World, and I would just like to see a different narration, a different storyline, and I think when you go backwards, like the technology we happen to know about, we've known about for a lot of years now. So let's
Yeah,
get some new technology that we know
I
about.
agree there. That those
Yeah.
screens, like we could do without that. I think that is so much wasted space. So you never got to see like the scene on the right where they had the family and
The
No,
mom talking to her daughter and
I
saying
never
good
saw that.
night.
it was basically like FaceTime. I mean, which I
Okay.
understand, but
Oh yeah.
that could like if you update those scenes, that was so much more exciting to see than it was this. I understand maybe how long have those screens been in there now? 10 years, probably more.
I mean,
Probably
it's
more
been
than
since I've been going, and now it's like 11 or 12 years at least.
That's
So
crazy how fast time goes.
I mean,
Right.
understand the choose your own adventure thing is kind of fun for the kids, but like, dang, it's been going on for a long
I've
time.
chosen my own adventure so often. I cannot choose a new adventure.
Right? You've done every possible combination in
I
every
have, and I
language.
try each time to sort of stack it so that, like maybe there I could see something, but
Well, because you know that those like windows are behind there, right? They're just covered up because they probably didn't destroy them. The windows are covered up right there on your right as you're coming down the hill. And what Disney does best essentially is storytelling. And I know that the thing with an attraction like Spaceship Earth is it's hard to tell because that's at that point they're telling the future, and
Mhm,
it's always hard to keep up with the future because as soon as you put that
mhm.
in that window, technology is going to surpass in a year or whatever that you put in that window because it moves so quickly. But come up, like I guess it's like that future retroism or whatever they call it, where it maybe
that's
it doesn't have
hard.
to be exactly what the future is, but make it because I enjoy seeing that stuff, but
But it seems to
it's
be
more
loaded
exciting to
really
see story.
heavy with the ancient part of communications. And I feel like we have some opportunities maybe. There is nothing that we're looking forward to really at this point, except for the little story where you choose your own adventure, right? But we aren't really looking at things that haven't been yet. I mean, it's all in the past basically at this point.
Mhm.
So I think there are some opportunities to maybe present some future communication that is way like out there as a possibility. I don't know. I just the whole last 10 minutes of the ride, I feel like could go. We could do something different with that.
Trying to think
Agreed.
because I prefer because I put this in the clubhouse the other day about the refurb actually and like your favorite narrator because you went back to like Walter
Jeremy
Cronkite, Jeremy
Irons.
Irons, Judi Dench.
Mhm.
I preferred Jeremy Irons. Like I thought that was just good. But again, here's another hot take of mine. I think that you always like the one like when you came into like the fandom. Like Jeremy Irons was when I first started going to Walt Disney World. That's when I discovered Spaceship Earth. But it was also around the millennium too, which I think was for me when Epcot was at its peak. Again, I wasn't around in in the early 80s or when, Epcot, like I'd have liked to seen that, but I wasn't around, so I don't know. But I love Jeremy Irons' narration. What about you, Pam? You've seen them all. So what would you prefer?
They're talking about Walter Cronkite, of course,
Yeah.
doing that. Um, my family went to Epcot when I was in school within a year of when Epcot opened. It was probably the year that Epcot opened. So I saw that original narrator, but I remember Walter Cronkite more than anything. And the other thing I really remember, and even to this day, that scene where they're going to the moon. So there's a few things that really resonate with me in that scene. First of all, when my stepdad first had his practice, he had that
That's the one relic of Walt Disney World I would love to have.
terrarium.
Terrarium, yeah.
Okay. Yes. So he had that in his waiting room office. And also, it is not there any longer, but there was this huge like lamp that had this huge arm and then this sort of bulbous like thing, that this lamp is very like mid-century modern or 60s or whatever. Um, Even though this was not the 60s or whatever, it was probably just a free lamp he got from somewhere, right? Along with the terrarium. So these are things I remember being in his waiting room. And every time you see it, I take a picture of it and text it to my parents. And then, of course, when they're there, they take a picture of it and send it to me. But I just have really fond memories of that. That like I relate to that scene every time. So think like, what a time that would have been to be kids and see people walking on the moon. Like that was a really cool part of it. With
I
that,
love
but
this story, by the way. I'm glad you're sharing that. This is
I
what
know.
it's like, kind of all about. I just love that story. It's a fun
yes,
memory.
so and I lost the word terrarium. Did you see
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Right here live on the podcast. Totally lost the word.
Dude, after 18 years, this is happening more and more. I'm just saying.
Right.
It's the way of things around these parts anymore. I forgot a super simple word the other day, and I had to like type it on my phone. I'm like, oh my god, what is this?
Right.
Please
We're
take
gonna
me to
need
the doctor, Pam.
supportive
To the doctor.
people to support us during the podcast.
I know it's so scary. It's like, and I'm on. The scary thing is we do this live. We used to not do this live. It's so scary. Anyway, but I mean, I love that you bring that up though, Pam, because I think that Disney needs to not take scenes out though, like that little niche scene of like, the Apollo landing on the moon and, the garage scene of the, it's not Steve Jobs, but of the computer being made in the garage in California and all these things, because I love to see like grandpa now. It's just scary that like you have grandpa talking about this or, dad or whatever, pointing out, look at that. There's a Fleetwood Mac album on that wall. And it's a nod to, because that's a Mac computer. And I had that Fleetwood Mac, album. You got, then it spurs a conversation after the attraction of grandpa talking to the grandkid about what an LP was back in the day and who the Fleetwood Mac band was and how they went to a concert, one little element on a wall in an attraction like Spaceship Earth can like bring grandpa and the granddaughter together and they could be talking about that over I don't know ribs back at Regal Eagle later on in the day. I think
But
that you
what
can't
about
discount that kind of stuff.
what about in the beginning though, where it's just a movie of like the cavemen fighting the mastodon?
See, I think that's super valuable from an educational standpoint because I taught 6th grade social studies and that was our curriculum. It was
the mastodon.
Yes, we taught prehistory in 6th grade science, social studies.
Wow.
So what I always told Pam was like, man, if I could just bring I didn't teach the social studies. I taught science to the grade level, but the Mrs. Timmons next door taught social studies to the grade level. And I told her, if I could just bring our class to ride Spaceship Earth, and don't worry, I showed them the video, but it isn't the same, right? I showed them a ride through. But if I could just take them and show them that, like, how engaging would that be to like show them the history of communication, right? And how, because it's so simple. I mean, it's not rocket science. Like people didn't have a language originally, right? They just got, but then everybody for some reason, let's just all get in a circle and get the mastodon in between us and throw rocks at it till we kill it. I mean, dude, it's like a football team, it's like, it's like we're all working together to accomplish a goal. And how,
I see the point from that.
But, I'm saying like it was from that we've developed into, I mean, think about tech. It's mind blowing to think about what, communication has become today. Like, what are we doing right here? It's like we're sitting together. You're in Pittsburgh. I'm in St. Louis. Scott's in Michigan. It didn't matter. You could be in Australia and Scott could be in Japan and we could do this just as easy. But back then, I mean, I think about this stuff all the time. It blows my mind, but I still think we need that kind of stuff at Walt Disney World because it's so easy. Because when kids discover this in their social studies classrooms in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, whenever they teach it now, I think the kids that go to a place like Epcot have such a leg up on other kids because they'll be like, oh, I saw that on Spaceship Earth. Maybe I'm reaching too far. Scott, where do you think about it?
Aren't.
Do you think Emily
You
has a
aren't.
leg up because of that stuff?
No, I mean, I kind of think Emily has turned out the way she is because of some of this stuff. Some of the places that we took her to when she was younger, and she just like kind of grasped that. I will say though, like I kind of dig that scene, but it definitely needs to be like on some HD screen now or something because you can like barely see that screen when you get up there. I think that's kind of where Pam is going with it too. It's just like it
It
is
needs
so
a zhuzh.
fuzzy and grainy, like you can't even like see it anymore. But yeah.
I would like to see that be audio animatronic, perhaps,
Oh,
or something.
there you go.
Maybe. I know, but I can remember when Hannah, from the time she was little, she would say to us, "Oh, let's go ride and learn about communication." And she was just like this little tiny kid. And I was like, are you talking about? You are a mess. But yes, she did remember this was all about communication. Again and again, she would tell us,
I
this
love
is
it.
where you learn about communication. It's like,
I,
okay.
because I do hear people say, it's Disneyfied. It's not, you're teaching your kids. It's not real history, but it's what it is. It's enough of history that, like, for example, I mean, we're going way deep on Spaceship Earth today, but we don't have a ton of questions. So I'm glad we get to explore this. And it's back to school season. So, and, Emily just went to college and, so
Mallory's senior year, and
exactly.
Hannah's
Education's better,
teaching, and yeah.
he's a teacher. So when you go past, I mean, like the scene with like the Greek scene, right, where have the beginnings of kind of formal education, right? You have,
Yeah.
I forget who it is, but you got a teacher there kind of presenting to a couple students that are just like loving that they're being taught to.
Oh,
And I think about,
Socrates. You're talking about
Socrates.
Socrates? Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not how education looks in my school district at this point. They're so excited to be having a teacher there, giving them knowledge. Well, that has fallen apart over the past, couple, the hundreds of years. But it's interesting because, like, when you talk about a culture like Greece later on in 6th grade social studies, they'll have just a little nugget and they can kind of see, like, oh, I saw that. And that's kind of, it's a brief moment, but it makes a connection. In education is about making connections. The printing press, it's such an abstract concept to kids, but when you scoot past that and you see, like, I mean, they show like the monks trying to scribe it by hand and they're sleeping, because think about how hard that would be, really. But if I just tell them that in a 6th grade classroom in Florissant, Missouri, this suburb, and back then it was a classroom that didn't have air conditioning, it was hot. Nobody cared. Nobody listened to me. As much as I tried to make it exciting, they didn't listen. But if you showed them that and showed them like these monks that are snoring, looking at that and then scrolling by and actually seeing a machine, let's go, boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
They know what a printing press is then. And then you can then that spurs the conversation. They don't learn everything about it, but then you can have the conversation. Well, okay, why now can information get distributed so much faster to so many more people? And then how can that change literacy in Europe and in other places over time? Yeah, I know I'm going way deep on Spaceship Earth, but I think those attractions are so
They're important. They're important. Yes.
They do. It is like the physical, the manifestation of the stories, and that always helps people make a connection, I think. And just to see it sort of like practical knowledge, they really do put it in a story format, and our brains are designed to learn a story, learn and remember a story. We aren't necessarily designed to remember a bunch of facts that we don't make a connection with, but if you tell us in a story that we find compelling in some way, then definitely that's something that we're going to do. And I think that's always what Epcot has done in some ways. Is it still doing that? Yeah, in certain ways it is. I mean, we rode the land when we were down there. I learn something every time I ride the land. And even if it's just like exploring how I want to do something different in my own garden at home. But I always enjoy that. I like it and to think about it. And one of the things that I think is really hard, especially for those of you who garden, this, is you could do everything exactly right and things could not turn out as anticipated. It just, there's so many factors at work there, right? And I'm always amazed at the way that they tackle some of the stuff in the land. So I think there are still a lot of good stories there being told in Epcot, especially I mean, take out like Future World, which I know is not called Future World anymore, but it
We're
would be
always going to
Future
call
World
it
I'm
to
always
me.
calling it
on this
Future
show.
World.
Yeah,
This
the rest
show
of my
is gonna
life.
be Future World.
Yes.
That's exactly
In
it.
20 years, when we're still doing this podcast, and
Nope.
Epcot has gone back to changing the name to Future World, then we will again know what it is.
I
But
think Ricky's the only like host or co-host that knows what the actual names are.
I can picture on my phone of what the lands are supposed to be, and I'm still like, no, I'm not. Just World of Discovery? No, what are we talking about here? Future World,
Discovery Cove, isn't
World
that where the
Showcase.
dolphins are? We whatever.
Right? But there was a rumor recently about World Showcase getting a new land, right? I mean, you saw that sort of floating around, and I like that's interesting. But I think too, when I do World Showcase, you sort of, learn something about that too,
Oh, for
even if
sure.
it's just like I don't like what they're eating there, or I do like that beer that they serve in that country, whether that's true or not.
It's funny. I know we got probably another question, but like I met with a coworker today. They're taking a 5 and a 9-year-old first time, and he was asking like which park should they go to? Should he go to all four? I was like, well, yeah, you should go to all four. And we started talking about Epcot, and I was talking about the edutainment piece of it, and like how it's not quite how it was at one point, like back in the day. But like, I still think your kids can learn so much from visiting Epcot, especially the front part of the park, Future World. That's what we're gonna call it, right?
Sure.
But and they can have fun at Frozen Ever After and some of those other rides too. But I really focus. I was talking about Spaceship Earth and the land, and like those are things people forget about. But like I think it's really important for your kids at ages 5 and 9 to experience that. And yeah, and I'm so glad that we still have those attractions available. How did we get on this like long rant with Spaceship Earth today?
Well, it's Jason. I mean, Jason's asked about the refurb, but I mean, I mean, going back to World Showcase though, because we don't have a ton of questions, so we're good. But World Showcase, I think, is a great opportunity for kids that don't travel internationally, like my kids. I mean, we don't have passports and we've never traveled except for cruises outside the country. I mean, dealing with international cast members, one of the greatest things was that Kid Cot Fun spot. We did that with Paige every trip and Mallory as well. And as strange as that sounds, like they would stop at all 11 countries and they would get we bought them little passport books. They get it stamped. They would color in the Duffy back in the day. Like Paige always did like 1/11th of the Duffy at every station, but she had to do the colors. We always made her, only color in the colors of that country's flag at that station, right? So like in Canada, it could only be red and white, that part, and so forth. And, she would at least get to talk to and they would write her name on the stick, it's like a paint stick. So she would have to ask, the cast member from Canada and then from Japan to write her name on the stick in that country's, if it was a different kind of script. But she would interact with that person. And at least she has made a connection, small connection, for sure, but some kind of a connection. Sometimes they talk to you more or less. But the thing is, as a parent, that's where you would take them through the pavilion. And, if you're in Germany, you could talk about, they make clocks in Germany. That's one of the things they're known for. And you go into the shop and talk about the cuckoo clocks and the different kinds of clocks and the glassware. And, it's just, but that's where, a parent has the opportunity, because we do have German areas in St. Louis, but do we go there? No, not very much. We should, but you can go to Germany, you can go into Italy. There are things to explore. And like, Scott's did the, 80 $80 through World Showcase experience. That's the kind of stuff where you can turn World Showcase not only being fun but educational on a trip. It's really an opportunity. That whole thing with your kids is great. I love it.
It is, and I think too, like you sort of underplay those things like food and shopping as if that is not what a big part of every country's culture is. Food and shopping, the goods that they make there, the things that are available. Like that is what a big part of people's culture is. There's entertainment, which again, Epcot does have in certain countries too, but that is a part of culture. So I don't think you can like say that's not worthy.
Yeah. Because some people travel internationally a lot. We never have, and that's great to be able to try different foods, because that's our opportunity. Like we just haven't a lot of times, so we get to try it at Epcot. And I know it's not the real thing, but it's it's better than nothing. It's a great exploration for kids, I think.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see. So for Dennis, real quick, what direction are you walking World Showcase when you come through the front gate? Does your answer change if you come through the International Gateway? I always go to Mexico first. What about you guys? If you're coming through the front,
Just depends on what I need to do. Like if I mean, if I'm going there and I have an ADR at La Salle, I mean, I'm going to go to Canada.
well, yeah,
But yes, but yeah,
like if I have no
I
like
know.
set
Yeah, I
plan,
know.
like, I always go to Mexico first.
Yeah, I tend to go to the left to Mexico. Yes.
Yeah.
Got to start with that margarita, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm always going to nachos or something. Maybe margarita.
My confession is I do not have one way that I go more than others. It's just how the mood strikes me that day, really and truly. And it also sort of depends on what's going on. Like at Food and Wine, when that's going on, we tend to go to the right first. And I don't know why. There must be something to the right that we're trying to get to that we like. And I prefer to go in through International Gateway, though. That's my favorite
100%.
Now, if I'm going through the International Gateway, I turn right and head to France because I mean, it just seems like it's more target rich because otherwise you're going to end up towards Future World quicker because you're just going to hit UK and Canada. I guess mean then you could just
but then you loop around again.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Depends on if you want to get a pint first.
Yeah.
I mean, during a festival too, that like little area between Canada and
right.
Mexico is kind of target rich.
And sometimes if there is a festival going on too, if you go to like the cut through to Imagination too, there's something there that's good.
For the kids.
I know. I like it when, remember, right after it reopened and like the festival was all up in that front area too. Like that was kind of cool as well. Maybe that was because they were still doing so much construction, but still, I really liked that as well.
Remember when they had that ESPN booth that had all the like sports food?
Like the chicken wings and stuff?
Yeah, man, that'd be a good one for this weekend. Oh, let's go. All right, we got to wrap this, but we're going to be back on Friday. And Friday, I think you're going to like Friday's show because we're going to do a continuation on last Friday's show, making some comparisons because Pam wasn't here and we got to get her in on the fun, but we're going to expand it out a little bit. So get ready. We're going to keep it rolling a little bit bigger, a little bit more expansive on that comparisons idea for Friday's podcast. So don't forget, all of our shows brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line adventures. Don't forget, Disneyland available to book packages for 2026. Those are on the table right now. And Disney Cruise Line itineraries for late 2026 and early 2027 for Castaway Club members this week and general public starting on Tuesday, September 2nd. So if you want to get in on that, all the action's happening for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys make the show possible. Couldn't do it without your support. You can support us for just $5 a month. And for that, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd sure love to have you. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. You can follow us on the social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on X.com, Instagram, and Threads. You can follow Scott in the same places at EpScott. That's EPSCOT. Pam is at TMFLT Pam. You can also check out Scott on his YouTube channel. That's Must See Adventure. Scott, real quick, what's happening on the channel this week as you head out to sea?
Yeah, we're wrapping up our Hawaii trip. It took a long time. It takes a long time to edit a video. I just gotta say, like when you're editing like an hour-long video with music and all that, it takes a long time. But we just wrapped up the Hawaii series. So if you're curious about Aulani or anything on Oahu, go back and check out. It's 12 episodes long. To keep you entertained this Labor Day weekend. So give it a like and subscribe. Must See Adventures.
There you go. Must See Adventures. Like and subscribe over the long holiday. It's not a bank holiday. It's just like our UK friends.
But I understand if you want to watch some football too. But don't forget But afterwards, after your team wins, I'm not going to say lose because everyone's winners, right? Yeah. After your team wins, go check out the channel.
That's right. It's a good point. All right. So check that out. And don't forget, we'll have a show for you on Friday. Going to be a lot of fun. So until then, for Scotty G and Pam Forrester, I'm Mike. You guys have a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. save that one.
Sorry, my allergies have been so bad.
Same, I've been taking Claritin.
I know, and I forget, like, when you talk a lot, sometimes, like, you cough. I've been trying to hit the mic, though. Did it
You've been
bother
doing
you when I
good.
had the cough drop in?
I didn't even notice.
I noticed.
didn't.
Okay.
I was like, what?
You're a professional. You're good.
Same. What? What? I was like, I didn't know.
It's the cough drop. Like, you know how, like, you get that tickle in the back of your throat when your allergies are so bad? Oy.
Well, today's high here was 74. But
Yeah.
like, can't open the windows because all the
I know.
sneezing. Like, it's killing me.
It's been the last, like, week and a half that I feel like my allergies have been horrible. And I'm like, I don't even know what happens in the fall here that this is happening, but it's happening.
Yeah, there's this junk. I'm the same way. Like, I've been taking Claritin for a week. All right. Here we go. We'll have fun with this. And again, this was so wild last week. We just made it up as we went. So just
All
straight
right,
in, here we go. It's where the show takes us. There's no rules. It's the holiday weekend. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2754 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and welcome to the Labor Day weekend here in the United States. Hope you have a great long weekend planned. Lots of football, lots of family fun. And our buddy Scotty G has lots of sand in his toes coming up this weekend. Excited for him. Can't wait to see all the coverage and hear all the fun when he gets back. We'll have to talk about that in the next little bit here on the podcast. Always love those post-cruise trip reports. So Scott will have lots to talk about the Disney Dream here soon. So joining us, we're recording this one before he gets out of town, headed down to Fort Lauderdale to hop on the Dream. Scotty G reporting from Must See Adventure Central. What's up, Scott?
Happy Friday, Mike. It's 3-day cruises are weird, right? They're just too darn quick. You board the ship, and then the next thing you know, you're leaving. But as I always say, a 3-day cruise is better than a 0-day cruise. So let's have an awesome weekend. And I know I want to bring Pam in on this because I'm kind of curious what she thinks about this too. But I know you haven't had to introduce her. But there's these rumors going around that Lighthouse might have the 5K now, because like I know they've had merchandise like in their gift shop, for the 5K. And I've seen this photo on the interwebs about a medal. And I heard you say, Mike, that you wouldn't even consider running it because you think it'd be too hot on that island. And I'm curious if you want to elaborate on that. You don't have to right now, but I found that kind of interesting as a guy that likes to run every morning.
That's a good question. We get Pam Forster in here. She's the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, getting ready to enjoy her long weekend after moving her daughter into a townhouse. So she labored. Now it's time to enjoy the toils of that labor by relaxing all weekend. Pam Forster, happy Friday. What's up?
Right. And it proved to me this is why I work indoors at a desk. This is probably more my forte. No, so the 5K is being run at Lighthouse Point. I have seen the medals as well. But I will say, Tim and Audie, who both work for our agency, were just there not too long ago. And when they were there, they actually hiked the nature trail. And they said it was really beautiful. So now they're also from Texas and used to hot weather. But the great thing about this is, Mike, is that when you're done, you have that beautiful, beautiful water to be rewarded with. And can it really be that much more hot than it is at Castaway Cay on that runway stretch? There's a few stretches on the 5K course there that you're like, oh my goodness, how can it be this much hotter out here? So I don't know, but yeah.
Well, so here's the thing I think about Lighthouse is that, so Scott and I walked the nature trail. Now that's not going to be where you run because that's like total gravel and rocky and stuff. So that would awesome. Everybody should do that though. We loved it. Like there's little markers for the wildlife and all. It's really in the payoff when you get to the end of the trail. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Like you got to do that. That's just don't get lost. We got lost. But it was part of the adventure as always. But I think the course to run at Lighthouse is going to be along the road where the shuttle goes because I saw the signs and it's going to be hilly. It's going to have some hills. And It's not gonna, and it's gonna be out in the sun. And so like we were there in July. I don't know if I want any of that. I'm not a hill person. So it like the thing I like about Castaway Cay is it's flat as a pancake, and you do run through the jungle twice. I call it the jungle when you do the jungle loop. And my strategy in that, when I do that and I run it first as early as I can, like I'm the first one off the ship and I get it done like ASAP. Like I try to get it in the coolest period time I can. I run from every patch of shade I can find. Like I zigzag, like no matter where the patch of shade is. If you look at my like thing on Runkeeper, it's probably like because I go from every patch of shade I can get. I just don't think you're going to get any shade, and I think it's going to be like hilly because those tram things go up a hill, and I don't like any. I'm a big bit. I know I'm just a whiny little baby, but I do because I'm a treadmill person. I do not like when I see elevation climb of like 6 feet. I'm like, ooh, no thanks. But that's just me. I'll probably do it though, so I can get the medal. But I won't.
I feel like you're going to do it once. I know you are.
I don't. So. I'd rather do Castaway because it is flat as a pancake. It's just. I mean, it is, but. I mean,
not everyone runs on a treadmill. So
I know
people are used to a little hill every now and then.
And it's also 5 degrees every day. And like there's an iPad and podcast in my ears. It's great. People like, how do you do a treadmill? I'm like, how do you do hills? How do you run in the dark?
How do you run and look at the same landscaping each time?
Exactly. I mean, like, I used to run around the lake like 58 laps every morning, but like sometimes deer would just pop out at me, like startled me. I'd come around the corner. I mean, a buck would be there.
Deer will do that.
And I'm not talking about Jonathan in Minnesota either. Like it'd be a buck for real buck. Like it'd be looking at me, it'd give me a heart attack. Right as the sun's going up. Like this, and he'd be gone, I'd be gone. Like we'd be scaring each other to death. It doesn't happen on the treadmill. Every once in a while, I'll take a misstep, fires me back into the wall, wakes you up and you're good to go. Anyway, all right, let's do this topic. So last Friday, and we had a lot of folks on social media reach out and say, man, that show was wild. I don't know if it was great, but it was different. And we're like, thanks, I think. So if you missed it, go back and listen to Friday's show. What we did was we tried to draw comparisons to experiences with restaurants at Walt Disney World to chain restaurants around the country. Chick-fil-A, Red Robin, Scott threw in a Qdoba / Chipotle kind of experience, Olive Garden, Red Lobster, and so forth. We didn't know if we were complimenting Walt Disney World restaurants, dogging on Walt Disney World restaurants, somewhere in between, but we had a good time with it. I was sad because Pam Forster wasn't here to participate in the party. So we're going to do this again this week, kind of throw out some experiences that, like we did last Friday, but we're not going to limit it this time, maybe necessarily to restaurants. We're going to do some more restaurants because there's so many more that we could have done, but also we could throw in some retail, like a store experience at Walt Disney World, a shopping experience, also maybe hotel experiences. Because I was thinking about this on the treadmill, speaking of the treadmill this morning on my run, I was thinking like, if I wanted a Great Wolf Lodge, I just gave it away. If I wanted a Wilderness Lodge experience, there are these experiences around the country. And one time this truly happened to us. This was like when Paige was, I want to say like 10 or 11. It was dead of winter. And, like we had cabin fever. Like we're in, the Midwest. It was cold. It was snowy. We just wanted to do something for like 2 days. And I was like, oh man, I love Wilderness Lodge in the winter. We went to a Great Wolf Lodge thinking it would be the same thing. And it kind of was like the theming. It had the big fireplaces, but I don't know if you've ever been to a Great Wolf Lodge, but they have like an indoor water park is like their gig, or is like their whole like thing. Like you get this pass to an indoor water park. They also have, like we went to a cheerleading competition one weekend up in the Dells in Wisconsin. And it's kind of the exact same. Actually, there was a Great Wolf Lodge we're in a place called Kalahari, but across the parking lot, there was a Great Wolf Lodge. And so you get your room and it's all kind of cabiny, right? And it's kind of cool. But like you do the indoor water park and they have concessions and all kinds of stuff, which is kind of fun, but it wasn't, I was disappointed. It wasn't Wilderness Lodge. Like,
yeah,
I'm sad.
It's not.
No, it's not. Instead of smelling like the whiff of like the skillet coming from Whispering Canyon, all it was chlorine.
Chlorine, yeah.
Like and we had to drive all the way out to Kansas, like to go to this place. It wasn't in Missouri. Like we drove 4.5 hours past Kansas City, all the way out to like Overland Park, Kansas, or somewhere. It was way far. And I was thinking, I'm going to get a weekend like at Wilderness Lodge. No, I got kids screaming. I got chlorine instead of like.
It's like a giant arcade too. You probably
dude,
blew
I
a
know.
bunch of money there too.
Yeah, I hate arcades. Like, so I was just like, dude, I got scammed. But you know, it had the aesthetics of a Wilderness Lodge, but it was a miss. But that was what I was thinking. So that's where I'm going with like a hotel experience that I thought was Wilderness Lodge. Boom, 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 boom. No, it was not. So Scott, do you have let's ease Pam into this, give her some thoughts. We go restaurants, stores, hotels, anything at Walt Disney World, like draw some comparisons, good, bad.
So I'll play how we did it last week. So we gave like the chain place, and then we had to say what Walt Disney World, icon or representation we thought that was. So I'll start with the store this time because we did a bunch of restaurants last time. So what would you consider to be the Walmart of Walt Disney World? So when you think of Walmart, right, you think like they got it all, right? I mean, you can buy what, like your tires, your clothes, you can get groceries. I mean, you can get like so much stuff at a Walmart, right? And you can also see some characters at a Walmart, right?
It
Like
could be great Friday night entertainment if you want.
Yeah, great Friday night entertainment. They're really big stores. So, and I think most listeners here, even like our friends in other countries, know what a Walmart is. They come to Florida, they visit Walt Disney World,
They build that into their touring plan, like
exactly
our European friends. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So I don't know who wants to kick it off. If they have one in mind, what they think the Walmart is of Walt Disney World.
This is going to be bad.
I think it's gotta be like the Emporium, like the main store right there.
Like, but you got it like right at like park closing, right?
Oh yes. You have to be there at park closing with the masses.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it should be a park closing when there's also a party that's going to be happening. I mean, it's got to be, and it has to be a million degrees.
Yes.
A million degrees.
Yes.
And yes, you're there and you're over there by Casey's, so you're smelling like the hot dogs and the sauerkraut as it sort of rolls through, right?
It's sauerkraut. I love it.
I love it. That's so good.
This is what this is bringing to me. Every time, first of all, I have probably bought many things at the Emporium, and yet every time I'm there, I'm like, what am I doing in this store? Like like you're always behind someone who manages to be all over in front of you. Like you zig, they've already zigged in front of you. Like you zag, they're doing the same thing. Their whole family is taking up the whole freaking aisle, and you're just like, okay, I want to punch these people first of all, and then why is it always like that? I find
because you're a
the
social
most
media
annoying.
darling. You cannot punch people, Pam Forrest.
I know. Well, hello. I'm just like, I try to hold it together, but I have these thoughts. You're like, why are these people? And the kids being bad, right? Like kids lose their religion in the Emporium, especially late at night, and parents as well, right?
And
like,
parents lose their kids because the thing is, like, here's the
they
deal.
don't care.
That and like the whole layout of that whole side of the street is like a beauty. It's like a blessing and a curse, the kind of thing, right? Because like the thing goes the whole street, right? So like a kid could be in the main, like park down by the barber shop, and then all of a sudden they're in the middle section, which is, I don't know, like the celebration of the minute, and then they could end up in the section that's supposed to be like the sporting goods, and then they could end up getting sauerkraut on them at Casey's. All of a sudden, you don't know where they are. The kid's gone.
It's bad. Parents are not watching their kids, or their kid is freaking out and pitching a fit about something that they're not able to get. And I just so often I want to be like, parent your child. Everyone in here, there could be a general announcement that gets played every 5 minutes. Please parent your child. If that means if they're pitching a fit, you either are intentionally ignoring them but keeping them in sight, or whatever, like give some prompts to like help people. I know it's been a long day, but you still have to know where your kid is. Like all these things. It is kind of the Walmart.
I love it.
It's exactly the same at the Emporium at Disneyland, though. It's exactly.
It is. Yeah, you're right.
We're all out there too. Like there's no difference in the coast. Like there
always seems to be a line. to check out.
It's wild. Yeah, and that's absolutely the answer. Yeah, I mean, and late at night, man, it becomes like Hunger Games. Like it's
Oh,
it's Black Friday.
So I
and
did
if
I
there
did have
was
a different
something,
answer.
Did you?
Very,
What do you got?
it was very similar because I went with that one and the one I was going to give. So I like to have multiple answers, right? So, and the reason I was going to go with this one because you could have easily drunk people going here, which I think adds some of that Walmart flair. And that was going to be World of Disney because that
yeah,
can get so chaotic
That's true.
too. Because you
Yeah,
could just have people that have been hanging out at Disney Springs
that's
all
true.
day and night, and like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, let's buy some souvenirs at World of
Yeah,
Disney,
that's
and
true.
then and people could just be like scrambling for like their last minute souvenirs for the whole
yes.
trip, and then people get lost in that store
That's the
like
whole
crazy.
thing. Our stores are so big.
I
Like
lose my family every time I'm in that store. Like I really
100%.
do.
Like you turn around, you're like, Pam, look at this. Boom. Where'd my family go? Like every time I'm like, I turned around to look at a hat and like everybody's gone.
And then I mobile check out like 25 minutes ago. I'm ready to
Yes.
go. I'm walking around holding my stuff that I've already checked out with, and like I don't know where my
No
family
back.
is. Like, and there's like chaos happening everywhere in the store. So kind of Emporium vibe, but I was gonna go with World of Disney as my answer.
That's true. And the mobile checkout too, it's like that adds a whole nother level
It
of
still
really
makes me
does.
feel like
craziness
I'm
to
semi
things.
shoplifting. Like I still get nervous about that. Like I'm still scared, like with the mobile checkout thing, even though I've talked to somebody, like I'm gonna buzz when I go through the door.
Yes.
I just feel like
Right.
like I'm 5% shoplifting with that. Like it's just it doesn't seem right.
You aren't though. Look at your bill.
I know exactly. Trust me, I've paid for like mine and the person behind me.
Right. Exactly.
Like I'm doing the thing around here. Like there's a whole thing. I don't know if you guys have this in your town. Again, here it's Friday, it's a holiday weekend. Nobody's listening. So there's a Christian radio station called Joy 99.1 or something. And so like all the listeners have these stickers on their cars. And there's a notorious thing that like in the McDonald's drive-through that Joy 99 listeners will pay for the person behind them's bill, like especially in the morning, like for breakfast. And so like if you're in the McDonald's drive-through and you see somebody in front of you with like a Joy 99 circle
Yes.
like on their car, your chances are you're probably getting a free breakfast. It's like a an outreach kind of thing.
Right.
And so like that's how I feel. Like sometimes I'm like, I think I got fleeced. Like I think I just bought the person behind merch. Or like in a restaurant, I'm like, did I just buy the next table's bill? Also
Right.
meal? It's like, dude, was that really anyway? That's kind of that. But if
You're
people,
like, no.
do you guys have like do you have something like that at your like restaurants, like your drive-throughs? That is like a thing in St. Louis. Like it happens all the time. Like, oh yeah, so the person in front of you bought your meal. It
Well,
happens.
we do like sometimes on Starbucks there will be a run like that people will buy, whatever, buy it for whoever's
Big McDonald's around here, and it's always it's the Joy 99 listeners. It's
the
like
Joy 99 listeners.
You don't have that in Michigan, Scott?
I mean, same with Pam. Like you'll see a little bit every now and then. A Starbucks will pick it up, but not really. No.
McDonald's. It's Joy 99. That's always you see the.
Maybe I'm not going to the right places. I guess.
Right.
It happens to my father-in-law all the time. And when it happened, because he always goes like they kind of live out in the country, and like he always says, "I'm going into town for my breakfast," and he always goes to McDonald's. And if it happens to him, he calls us every time.
Oh my gosh, that's
because
so
we call
sweet.
Pam, and he'll be like, "Pam, I got one of those Joy 99 people bought my breakfast. They're the best." Oh, like, good for you. All right, Pam. Good. Okay, you haven't got to do this yet. What do you got?
I know I haven't, and I'm like feeling like, ill prepared, I will say. But so here's what I was thinking. I was trying to think of a resort outside of Walt Disney World that is sort of conducive to like a Walt Disney World experience. So, and the one that I thought of was one that sort of reminded me of Port Orleans Riverside. So I was wondering if you guys had one that you were thinking of that is sort of Port Orleans Riverside, like what would be sort of a Riverside sort of experience for you?
So I was thinking more like chains. Like I was thinking like I'm trying to think what's most like outside of rivers. It's like
so what is so then let's do that. So like what reminds you the most of like a moderate resort? Like what chain do you feel like is most like a Disney moderate resort?
Let's see. So a chain that's the most.
So I feel like a Hilton kind of maybe is
like
kind of where I'm thinking.
Is that too cheap? Is a La Quinta a value? I don't even know.
Yeah,
La
La
Quinta would be a
Quinta would be-
value, would be like an
Back in the
all-star
day,
sports
La
for me.
Quinta was nice. Like I used to think, like when I first went to space camp in 2001, they put me up at a La Quinta, and I thought it was fancy in Huntsville. But
there are some nicer La Quintas for sure, but
I
I will
hadn't
say
been
that's
out
probably
much back
not the
then.
norm.
Yeah, probably not now because that was back in 2001, and I hadn't been out of St. Louis hardly at that point. I thought it was a big deal. Yeah, I'm probably with you. So yeah, maybe a Hyatt. Yeah.
I think like it's like a moderate type thing. And on the same level, so what would you think is comparable to a value? Like
A Days Inn.
A Holiday Inn would be what I would say is like a Holiday Inn Express or something might
that's
be. Or
funny.
Holiday Inn.
I
I'd
was
do a
like
Holiday
thinking
Inn,
sort of
maybe
like a Hampton Inn. Like a Hampton
okay,
Inn
maybe.
is fine,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Every
it's
time you go
fine.
to a Hampton, they're fine. They're usually clean.
a Days Inn, I would say is a
A
value.
DoubleTree, maybe like
A DoubleTree. Yeah,
DoubleTree
I
is
know.
DoubleTree where you get the cookie. Like, do they leave
It
you
is.
like a cookie,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. And
Those are good cookies
there
too.
are some nicer DoubleTrees too. I think it's really hard to think of
It
like
is.
a Disney like when because we're trying to talk to people about it. It's like no, the beauty of a Disney resort is it's not like a chain. Like it truly is not. Each one has its own personality and it's so themed and things like that. But I was thinking of at Dollywood, there's the Dreammore Resort, and it sort of reminds me of Port Orleans Riverside. Like that was sort of in my brain
Right.
where I was going with that. Like it's kind of a cool experience. It's very themed. Both of her official hotels are very themed and like that. But do you guys have any like things that are near you that are very themed like a Disney resort?
So I was thinking that too. So I could, it wouldn't be a chain, but like, so the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island, it has like that really like long, like white porch. I mean, it says grand in the name. So it kind of has like a Grand Floridian or what vibe, but like the long porch reminds me of like the Yacht and Beach Club. You know how they have like that long porch out there and like there's some rocking chairs even. So I always get like every time I go to the Grand Hotel, I just feel like I'm at like a deluxe Disney type resort. Even though the rooms, the rooms are like 1960s, 70s. They don't refurbish those rooms. They are as retro as they can be. But the grounds themselves, like the building exterior and things like that, are very Disney-ish deluxe, I would say.
That's
What
cool.
about you, Mike? Is there something themed?
We don't have a lot of themed. Like we have a lot, like where we live, like we have a lot of like bed and breakfast right on the Missouri River there in like historic St. Charles on Main Street. But yeah, I wouldn't say anything that's comparable. Now Branson is doing like Dollywood because they're very comparison. Silver Dollar City is very like Dollywood, and they've just announced a huge like investment where they're bringing a bunch of hotels. They're just starting building down there, so they'll have hotels that are themed just like that in the next like 3 or 4 years, which I'm excited because they're gonna make it more of like they're doing the same thing where people go there instead of just going to Silver Dollar City. Because when you go there, they have just wretched hotels like on this strip, and it's just terrible. But if they're trying to make it more of a destination like Pigeon Forge and all that stuff, Dollywood, so they'll have that, which I'm excited for, but they don't now. Like we stayed in just a danky little hotel. It was terrible. Oh, Silver Dollar City was amazing, but like the hotel was just terrible. I mean, it was probably like Walt Disney World back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, like when people stayed on 192. I mean, that's exactly what I probably thought. Like that was what the experience was for a lot of people. I've tried to draw that comparison. That's a good
So
question.
there's a really cool little, well, I don't know how cool it is anymore, but we had stayed together. So there's a hotel called the Madonna Inn, and it's in San Luis Obispo, California. And it is one of those hotels where each room has its own over the top theme.
So that's kind
Like
of the Grand Hotel. Yeah.
every room is different. But these, Mike, you would love it because these rooms are super kitschy.
Oh, I love that.
Like there is like jungle rock room,
Yes.
and you know what I mean? Like, and the shower is like made of rocks and whatever. I'm trying to think. There's like a bridal fall room. There's all these different rooms that are so over the top crazy. You'll have to look it up because each room is so crazy different. But we did stay there, and it was an experience. Let's just say that. It was, it is so like 70s. Like this is right out of the Love Boat, really. Like
Yes.
someone would have gotten off the Love Boat and then drove to San Luis Obispo and stayed here because it is so over the top. But there's about like I love when a hotel leans into a theme. Like
Sure.
that's fun. That's different. That's, it's not a Marriott, which you can stay at everywhere. It's not, something you can stay at in every town. And I think that's one of the things I like so much about, Disney World, but this whole thing too.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't have like a whole lot of themed hotels around here. It's sad now that I think about it. Because like we have a
Does-
nice Drury, which is great, but it's no theme.
Does Columbia have a graduate? Do you know? So like here in East Lansing, we have something called the Graduate. I know Ann Arbor has one too. So it's like themed to like your university, which is really cool. So like,
I don't think so. We have a Broadway.
so like you go to the bathroom and the toilet is like here in East Lansing, it's like maize and blue because it's like Michigan's colors. Like
I think
that's how like it
we
is.
do have a hotel that has that, but I think it's Broadway.
Okay.
I've seen. Maybe it's in a bar though. I don't think that's in the hotel. I think yeah, I think I've urinated in one of those somewhere at some point.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
It was a Jayhawk. September 6th is coming. Okay, so here's
you got one, Mike?
Yeah, so what's the most Baskin Robbins location at Walt Disney World for ice cream? 31 flavors. I mean, this one's pretty simple, I think.
Where you can get so many flavors. Like I'm thinking, so I kind of want to go salt and straw.
That's what I would say it is because
but their flavors are so unique. Where I think Baskin Robbins doesn't go like as
they don't.
They're more traditional with their flavors, I would say,
Mhm.
But it's the quantity, it's the offerings of flavors.
Yeah.
So where I think the vibe of salt and straw, if you take out just like how obscure, which I like, by the way, how obscure their flavors are, I think that would be my closest resemblance would be salt and straw, I think, to Baskin Robbins.
That's what I was thinking too, because it's more like the whole system of how you get your ice cream at a traditional, like the Baskin Robbins of old that I remember. Like I go with my grandparents, like at the mall, you would go up to the counter, they'd have all the hard, containers there. You could sample if you wanted to, and go down the line and get a couple of scoops on a cone. And that's kind of how salt and straw works. Of course, salt and straw is for the now with all the wild and crazy flavors and so forth, but it's really the same concept. Pam, do you have any other thoughts on that kind of a Baskin Robbins for the here and now?
No, I think it's the best example of that because there aren't that many like ice cream places at Disney World that have that many different flavors, even of ice cream.
There's that boardwalk shop they kind of has some, right? Like the old Ample Hills, but there's not many, right?
I would say if I'm guessing, I would say maybe they have like a dozen flavors at the most, maybe 10. I don't even know if they have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know. It's so weird to think about that. Like my local ice cream shop is like way better than most of the ice cream shops in Disney World in terms of like what they offer, the different flavors that they offer, even the different ice creams that they offer. I mean, think about it. When you go to Disney World, there's really not that many even flavors or things you can get. You can maybe get like a little sundae, you can maybe get whatever. Beaches and Cream has some, but again, there are very few flavors at Beaches and Cream. That's interesting to think about that.
I guess it has to be an efficiency kind of thing, right? I mean, this because think about on Main Street at the Magic Kingdom. I mean, there's only probably on the menu there 5 or 6 different flavors of ice cream and probably like 6 different offerings, like a sundae, an ice cream sandwich, the All-American sundae. I don't even know if they have shakes. I think they think they do have shakes, but they only have, they have such a limited menu, but I guess that helps get people in and out, which is what you need. And, they're not lacking selling stuff. So, but yeah, it is kind of interesting though.
It is the fact that there's just not that many.
I guess it slows you down if you're like having to make 31 decisions. Yeah, because I could see that though, right? I mean, think about a kid. Well, it's kind of like freestyle Coke machine situation. Like you have a kid up there and you have 31 choice. Yeah, that would be a mess. Yeah, so they're probably doing it right if you think about it. If you only have X amount of choices, people are going to get in and out faster. That's probably why they're doing it. All right, Scott, what you got?
Okay, so this place is closed now, but And I don't think it was all across the country, but I just had to quick Google it. I had to fire up the old Google machine, and it was in all three of our home states. So I think you two should remember it. But do you remember Chi-Chi's from back in the day?
Yes.
I do not. I don't know what a Chi-Chi.
Oh,
Yes.
you don't know Chi-Chi's, Mike?
I do not know
Oh,
Chi-Chi's.
it was.
You would go, they'd put a sombrero on you for your birthday and take a Polaroid of you.
Well, dude, I'd be there because I've
Okay.
never heard of this, but I would.
So now you're getting the vibe though from Pam right here now.
Mexican restaurant, I guess, a chain.
And I heard that they might be like making a comeback.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
I heard that too.
Okay, so yeah, so it's like an old 90s, early 2000s, like Mexican restaurant. I can't believe you, because they said they were in Missouri. Oh man, that's a bummer that you missed out on that, Mike. So not existing anymore, but I was trying to think of what other Mexican like chain sit down restaurants there were. Chi-Chi's is like the only one I could think of. So I'm just gonna go with Chi-Chi's. So yeah, so it's like your Mexican restaurant, you got the sombrero with the Polaroid, your big margaritas, things like that. So what would be your Walt Disney World Chi-Chi's? And I'll go out there just because I was younger with the Chi-Chi's, and just like my visual, like I just remember it being like very dark in there, and like it had like this cool theme. So I'm just thinking of the Sandhill restaurant and Epcot. It's kind of like what my visual is. It wasn't as like upscale as that, I would say, but like just like that theming with the darkness. I don't know why I just have like this visual of that being dark, and then like all the tortilla chips that you want and things like that too. Right. But I just feel like that's the kind of vibe that I would get would be that restaurant there in Epcot.
So was it kind of like a Chili's level service, but Mexican restaurant?
Kind of, I would say. Wouldn't you say, Pam?
Yeah, I would. It is sort of like that. Like there were a lot of like fried entrees. There's like a chimichanga and a fried ice cream and things like that. I don't even know that. I don't know if chimichanga is even an authentic Mexican dish. I'm not sure.
Not really. It's like it's an Americanized version.
It's like it, but maybe I'm just supposing this. Maybe it is. But yes, there were, there's a lot of like too. I remember, and this could have been like toward the end, but you could find like a seafood inspired like chimichanga and stuff like that, which was basically shrimp and faux crab in some kind of creamy sauce that was shoved into a chimichanga. So it was a lot of stuff like that.
So yeah, if I had to say, maybe I would throw in, that's a tough one because there's not a lot of super kind of casual Mexican places, but man, I'm trying to go between like, because we went to Rosa Mexicana, which I thought was more casual than I was expecting. I thought that place would be super fancy, and it was not as fancy as I expected, which I was glad about. But more Maya Grill, like that's not super fancy either. I mean, because we've had like that long stretch table for like celebrations.
Yeah, I think Maya Grill's like actually Maya Grill could be a good pick because like the decor is like fancier in quotes, but like the food offerings really don't meet that. I feel like
it's more like a lot of times we get fajitas and chips and guac and salsa and a margarita flight and we have a good time. It is fancier on the inside, and if like it depends. Like sometimes you go in there and it's super quiet, and it's like it feels kind of more upscale, like if you're in there. But then we've gone in there too. We've had like a table of 20 of us celebrating a birthday, and we've just been kind of wild and crazy and having a good old time. It just kind of depends.
They definitely do not have jazz. Jazz.
No, Chi-Chi's.
Chi-Chi's. No, Chi-Chi's did not have that. But there's no place in Disney World that sells like the humongous margarita.
Fishbowl.
Right. There's no place that has
I know they have like kind of restrictions on that, don't they?
They probably do.
It's probably a good idea. Let's mark that up to common sense.
Well, I remember I know this is Friday, right? We're just kind of talking, but I remember I was at Three Bridges once at the bar, and this guy went up there. He's like, "Can I get this XYZ drink or whatever? Like, I got this in Vegas. Like, do you know how to make that?" And the bartender was like, "Yeah, I can make that." And they make it, and he gets it. He's like, takes a sip, like, "This isn't how they make it in Vegas. They make it with like these 6 shots of this or whatever." And the lady was like, come on, guy, this is Disney. Like, I'm not gonna give you a drink with 6 shots in it.
Right?
He's like, well, he was
Exactly.
like, well, forget this, I'm out of here. And then he just like got up and left.
Where
I
do
was
you
like,
think you are?
yeah, I know. It was kind of funny. So yeah, I know they definitely have some restrictions on what they can do for their drinks, which makes
Sir,
sense.
sir,
Yeah.
you are not in Nevada.
You are not in
No.
Vegas.
No.
Mickey Mouse is always watching.
No.
Mhm.
All right,
Your
Pam.
your double's not even going to be what you expect it to be. If you order something that's a double, I don't think it's a double.
Right.
So.
All I know is I want to go to a Chi-Chi's. Like, this sounds awesome. I hope
If it
comes.
reopens, we'll go.
Yeah, we'll have a BOGP meetup at Chi Chi's.
Yeah.
Well, they
Exactly.
still sell like their tortilla chips and like salsas like in
Yeah.
the grocery stores. Like
You
you
know
And
what?
probably
the
have seen their
pancake
branding.
mix.
I think I have had their salsa because I've
Mhm.
seen like, yeah, like it's like a guy in a sombrero, right? With Chi-Chi's. I think I've had their salsa like at parties, but I didn't know that was like a restaurant. I just thought it was just a brand like old, El Paso or whatever.
Yeah,
Funny
it was a restaurant. Yeah.
I
Dang.
think they still sell the corn cake mix too.
Stuffing-
And it was like so it was sweet. Like I remember this. It was so, whatever. All right. So this is recently for a controversial reason. So what do you think is the Cracker Barrel of Disney World?
easy. We don't want everything getting stripped off the walls and not home. This one for me is easy. I think it's Olivia's.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that's was sort of like a tropical flair.
With a tropical flair, right? Because it's got all the junk. I
Yeah.
mean, this is pre-refurb or whatever we're calling it. Because I here nor there, but I just like the old Cracker Barrel because I just like it reminds me of my grandma's house because my grandma had the big, she had the big fork and the big spoon, like wooden spoon on the. I mean, my grandma's kitchen was like that, like it had just junk hanging everywhere. But I love this is where I grew up in the 80s. This is how it was, and she always made chicken and dumplings, and we had breakfast for dinner. I mean, it was going there was like going to grandma's, and they sold. I don't know if they still do, but they sold Charles chips in the store. And Charles chips are what we always had growing up. I don't know if you ever had Charles chips.
I don't know
no.
that I have.
Oh, they're the best. They're like, oh my God. They came in a big can. If you had like a subscription, we did.
Oh, I think I've seen the
Yeah.
cans.
Yeah. But I mean, you could get the bags at Cracker Barrel and like the old country stores. They still sold them. Like I got them just not too long ago. Our one here by the interstate. And they're salty, but they take you right back to like the 80s and the 70s because my grandpa's name was Charles. And so grandma would always get Charles chips when I was a kid. And we had so many of those and they're so stinking good, Charles chips. But anyway, I think it's Olivia's just because it's like, you get biscuits, you get like, well, you get biscuits, but you get like bread at the table, like it's that homey food, chicken
Right.
and dumplings and
Yeah.
we have dumplings on the, but I mean, there's buttermilk chicken and potatoes and green beans and stuff like that. It's that country food and it's got stuff on the walls. Ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a great answer because like you had the breakfast, lunch, and dinner offerings
I
there
agree,
too,
yeah.
And the gift shop kind of is really
Oh, that's
close.
a good point. Yeah,
Close.
it's almost got a little country story. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think the only other thing I was thinking of was boat rights. Is sort of like that. I mean, it has more of a theme and it's not quite like having like little little kitschy things, but it does have a whole bunch of stuff all over the walls that's supposed to go with their theme, and they sort of, sell that like a version of an all-you-can-eat skillet that has like ribs and chicken and stuff like that on it. So I thought that that was a good one too, and it just sort of felt like that. But yeah, yeah, the whole Cracker Barrel thing.
And I know with their branding. Yeah, I was to like kind of like think off a different way here. Like I was gonna go with like is it like the Crockett's Tavern now? Like what's the old like Trails End? Because now
Oh,
it's like a quick service kind of place now, and like it kind of has that Western vibe, a little bit, and you can get some fried chicken still in there. It's just not as a full sit down meal anymore, but I think you can still like go in there and like order and like
Trails
there's some
End you
tables.
can.
Yeah. Okay.
So Crockett's Tavern's like a lounge now, and it has like some lounge foods. Like it has like fried green tomato sandwich and like sliders and stuff like that, and a bunch of different like
Oh dang, that
interesting
sounds good
drinks.
actually.
I know. So the drinks were actually really good too. But yes, at Trails End, you can do that because I will say, when I was down there, we spent a night in the new Fort Wilderness cabins. And we did end up going there to Trails End, and you can get like fried chicken and ribs and all things that you would think to find at Trails End. So
And
yeah, the
and
whole
that's
area.
another quick service restaurant now, right? Instead of that's
Yeah.
such a loss. That was one of my favorite places to eat because that would have been like a good comparison, like for sit down. That was probably
You
a
can still
top five.
use it though. I feel like it's still a good
Yeah, you
comparison,
can
though.
still use it.
Because I think there's still tables there, though, right, Pam? Like you
Yeah,
can
there
still
are.
get in
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Yep. So you can still go there. You can get it. It's just not a buffet anymore.
Hmm.
So they still have all the stuff.
So does the restaurant still? Because I've been in there since they switched it over. Like what did? So are like the tables in the same spots as when it was a table service restaurant, or they made it smaller? Or
So the lounge takes up like part of the building now, like much more than it used to.
okay,
And then but there are still like tables and stuff like that. It's like half the restaurant's lounge and half of it's the tables for Trails End
did they
too.
close up that part where the buffet used to be, like that little section where the tables were near that?
So it's actually more like sort of their quick service, like you can sort of walk around and they have like the stuff that you find at other quick services, like the cookies or chips
Yeah,
or like some little like grab and go items
yep.
and stuff like that.
That
I need to
makes
get over
sense.
there. I used to love that restaurant. I mean, it's probably still good. So
Yeah, I mean, it's like
And
the same offerings basically. It's just
yeah,
not
it is.
unlimited.
remember during
Right.
COVID, that was like one of the best steals. They had that meal that you get in the bag.
So I think they still have the meal there.
Oh, do
It's
They
they?
like
have
that family bundle or something.
Oh,
yes, they
hell
do.
yeah.
They have a
Yeah.
family bundle that you
Yeah,
can
it's a
get.
good value. It's
Oh,
just
God.
It is.
and like honestly, like the buffet at Trails End was kind of expensive when you thought about it. Like, and then
Yeah,
like
it was.
and
So
like how many times were you going back up there for more food? So I feel like the new version is actually a pretty good value, honestly.
Well, especially when it was like fried chicken. Like how much fried chicken can you
Right.
actually eat?
that's the thing, is that kind of food was so heavy, and
Yeah.
like you would have good intentions and they had good desserts, right? So you'd be like, oh man, I want to go get more fried chicken or go get more like cheesy potatoes. But that stuff just kills you. Like,
Yeah.
and then you'd want to get strawberry shortcake, or they had good cookies and
They had cornbread. They had like
cornbread. Oh,
Mhm.
cornbread.
Yeah, that's another. It's
Cornbread.
another thing that you really can't eat that much of it because it's like so heavy.
Ugh, now I need to go to somewhere. All right, so
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel. I go to Gingham's. Gingham's my go-to, which is like Cracker Barrel, but it's a family-owned place here. I love it. So I went there Saturday night because of the show on Friday. The show influences where I eat all the time. So my last one, real quick, is White Castle. You're craving. Okay, so here's where I'm going with this. So we all, maybe international listeners might not. White Castle is a place, and because it's not all over the country, but it's a slider. It's a little like drive-through slider place. You can sit down
Mhm.
inside. Known for cheap little hamburgers that most people say are better eaten after you've had a good time at night. But I eat them all the time. They're not a lot of meat on them. They have onions on them.
They do.
They have a unique taste. They're based out of Chicago, but they have restaurants all over St. Louis and other places. Scott, you got to have them during I stopped and got a sack during our hot chocolate 10K.
That's right. It's the only time I ever had them.
Yeah. It's like, you got to have White Castles. I grabbed a sack on the race course, ran ahead. We had them like at like 7 in the morning or something. It was crazy because they're open 24 hours, a lot of them. But so I'm not necessarily looking for like a place where you can get a White Castle, but like that greasy food that you're just like, because people crave White Castles. That's kind of their marketing slogan. Like, it's like the food that you crave. But I mean, it could be a slider. So where would you go with that if you're looking for like that gravy, greasy, you regret kind of eating it later, but you got to have it kind of thing? Where would you go?
I'm gonna kind of cheat. I'm going to the other coast.
Okay, that's fine. Let's go.
Because and I know you're talking about more on the slider and the burger, but I'm gonna also kind of cheat here because when I think of White Castle, I think of those crinkle cut fries a little bit.
Okay, yeah, those are good fries. Yeah.
And there's only one Disney place that I've ever had crinkle cut fries in my life, and that is at Smoke Jumpers at Disney's California
Oh my
Adventure.
gosh, yeah.
And they have
And like,
them for breakfast.
and they have them for breakfast.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
You order your breakfast burrito or
Yep,
whatever, and you get a
yep.
side of crinkle cut fries.
Yes,
It is
you
the
do.
weirdest thing, but I
With, like,
love
some
it
kind of good
actually.
seasoning on top of them too. Like,
Yeah.
they put something on them.
But
Yeah.
the Smoke Jumpers also has like the burgers. They also have like a greasy burger at Smoke Jumpers too. So just I'm most of the time like the fried the potato here with the White Castle a little bit, even though I know it's known for the sliders. But yeah, I'm just getting a Smoke Jumpers vibe here, which is like a kind of underappreciated place. It's an interesting breakfast spot, I will say. It is a California Adventure, and you're talking about breakfast for sliders in the morning, because they're open at all hours of the day. So I'm gonna go with Smoke Jumpers is what I think of.
That's a creative call. Like, and I go to Smoke Jumpers all the time because I need protein in the morning, and I get that breakfast burrito. I just boom, and
With a
it's so
side of
easy.
crinkle cut fries.
Yeah, exactly. Those fries are rocking, I'll tell you. And it's the thing is, it's so easy to get to because it's right there at the front of the park. It's whoop whoop boom, and you're there. I mean, it's just so easy right there at the
It
front.
is.
Yeah. All right, Pam. What do you think for like a craveable? Because it sounds like you've had White Castle too.
For liking them, definitely when I was in college, there were
Yeah.
some late night runs to White Castle. I can remember that. And I love like a little like a sauteed onion like on my burger. Like sometimes I often think, what would make this burger good is if they had little White Castle onions, like because there's just something about that, like being part of the thing. But as soon as you said it, what I thought of was sci-fi, just because like I feel like it has a few different burgers in terms of that, but it's also a place like where you can get like onion rings and stuff like that. I'm just thinking of like sort of not super like elaborate food or anything like that. It's just burgers and onion rings, and that's what I'd get if I were going to sci-fi. Like even though they might have like a salad or a chicken something, I think if you're getting anything other than a burger at sci-fi, you're probably doing it wrong.
You know what? I was kind of thinking the same thing because that is the go-to at sci-fi. I mean, even though it is table service and it's fancy, it's not fancy, but it's that craveable. Like I'm thinking burgers, onion rings, and a shake.
Yes,
It's that
exactly.
because like at White Castle, that's usually what I get. Like White Castle does have onion rings. They have good fries, and if I get the fries, I get the cheese fries because they put cheese on top. I either get the cheese fries or I get their onion rings. Then, like I said, the burgers have those sauteed onions on top, and they actually have shakes at White Castle. Dude, this is like the worst order ever because you regret this so bad like 2 hours later. But it's
You quickly regret it.
quickly regret it. But it's sci-fi do the exact same thing. They have a really good burger, fries, and I would get a shake because it's like a place. I don't know why. Like it just seems like you have to get a shake at a place like sci-fi. I get it at 50's prime time too because I get the PB&J shake. But dude, again, it would be so good in the moment, and that's what I would get there. But then I'd probably be in July or August or October, and then I'd be walking around the park like, what did I just do to myself?
Why did I
Man,
do
50's
that?
prime time. That could have been a Cracker Barrel pick too. That could have been a good one.
That'd have been a great
Yeah,
one.
that's true.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so we called a show and just turn it over to the listeners, see what they say. So that was a continuation of last Friday, and we're gonna wrap it there. That's it for this topic. But it was fun. We're gonna get Pam in on here, and you did you nailed it, Pam. You had
You
it.
saved me,
I
Mike.
tried to.
You saved me. I was worried we are going to do one more, and I was going to go Pizza Hut, and I feel like I was really going to struggle with that one. So thank you.
Oh, no.
Pizza Hut.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
thing is, you always got the call-in show, so somebody can help us. That's your get ready, everybody. That's like the on deck circle for Sunday night. Scott will be on the ship, enjoying his last night on the Dream, but we're gonna have a live call-in show. So the first one, jump in, everybody. Pizza Hut. What's the comparison? Give me a call Sunday night. So there you go, Scott. You already started the live show.
Already teased it. I like it.
Love it. All right, so there you go. Live show teased Sunday night, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. We'll see you there. It's just us. Scotty G won't be there, so I'll need your calls. So be there. Don't forget our podcast brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We're standing by to help you plan those 2026 Disneyland packages. We can do that now. Also, cruises, late 2026, early 2027. All Castaway Club members can book now. First time cruisers starting on Tuesday. So let's get that going. All the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com. When you click through there, it supports the show with every purchase. We sure appreciate that. Again, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys keep us on the air. You can support us just $5 a month. And for that, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd sure love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on our socials at Be Our Guest Mike is where you'll find me on Instagram, x.com, and Threads. You can follow Scott at Epscott, EPSCOT. Pam is at TMFLT Pam and all those places. Scott, real quick, what's happening on the channels over the weekend?
Yeah, so since I'm cruising, no new episodes this weekend. So if you want to tune in and watch our old series from European travels, Walt Disney World Thanksgiving, or our awesome Hawaii series, go check those out. That's the beauty of podcasting and YouTube, right? Those videos and episodes are out there forever. So go check those out, and we'll have some new content when we come back from the ship.
All right. We're going to have a great trip report for you on Monday. And even though it's Labor Day, there will be a show on your feed. We keep it going for you. So see you Sunday night, live call-in show. Don't miss it. We'll be there. So for Scott and Pam, I'm Mike. You guys have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Yeah, we lost the feed on Facebook, on the Facebook fan page during the show.
Oh, that's crazy. I thought I saw some weird message pop up.
Yep, but we kept going in all the other places. So I know Dr. Kai sent a message. I saw messages coming through. So I appreciate it, but I just want to keep going so we can record. Get it out there.
How's the Labor Day weekend like already?
Tell me.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird.
Things go fast.
They go very fast.
Well, you have a great cruise. I mean, I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll talk to you guys. Yeah, but excited.
Good time. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not packed, but we got my blazer ready because Remy, you gotta dress up a little bit.
You always dress up though. You always look good on your cruises.
I appreciate that. But yeah, so it'll be a good three night cruise. They are quick. My gosh,
they are. Sometimes it's good though. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes there's something about a 3-night cruise. It's like you savor it a little bit or something. You're like, okay, we got to do all the things.
And for the long weekend too, I think it's perfect, right? Like I'm only taking a day off of work or whatever, and boom. And you come back to work and what'd you do this weekend? Well, I went on a cruise. What about
you? You won the weekend.
That's the ultimate flex.
Exactly.
I grilled ribs.
The rest of her having burgers and dogs, and you're having Remy. So
exactly.
Flex. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I grilled.
Hey, we're gonna do first. We're gonna do a massage at Senses. We've never done a massage.
There you go.
I'm excited for that.
I told him, do not fall asleep. They'll be the most expensive nap you ever took because I didn't have my honeymoon.
Yeah.
True.
Because you're paying for 2 on a couple's massage, dude. You do not want to fall asleep. Do not fight it. All right, you guys.
All right, good episodes. Yeah, we'll see you guys.
See you guys. Okay, bye.
Pam, are you here next week or Monday? Are you going to be good or?
Tuesday? I don't think I can on Monday, but I could on Tuesday.
All right, let me see. I'll send a text. We'll figure it out.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. You guys.
I'll be back Tuesday too. So.
Okay. Yeah. So if we get, then we could probably do Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
See you guys.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.